Hey there, so today I want to return to the wonderful world of anime, and I want to talk about Vic Mignogna and some of the things that have been transpiring. Now, when I'm looking at this, I'm not looking to repeat ground that's already been covered. No, I don't need to do that. What I want to talk about is this move toward deplatforming because people stand with Vic. Because they've been making videos, because they believe that people should get trial by peers, preponderance of evidence versus trial by media. Now, it's kind of amazing to watch these sides form too, and some of the people that are out there as ringleaders. I mean, when you think about looking at it and you actually look at some of the things that's set up, I marvel at it myself. It feels like a trip under the big top. I mean, you have colorful hair, basically you have bright, shiny flippers, you have all of this stuff that looks like it should come out of a clown car some days. The only difference here is, well, these clowns, they want to destroy. They want to burn down things. And what they're aiming at, they're trying to burn down not just one individual, but any individual that speaks out. This has become par for the course in anything. Basically you have sides drawn. One side, they're talking about, again, preponderance of evidence, wanting to weigh things out and actually see what's being said, versus another side that points the finger and says, how dare you alt-righters try to speak to me? Are you alt-righters? Doesn't matter there. Doesn't matter at all. Because if you can become a Nazi, if they can wrap that term around you, well, semantically, that social lexicon we've been seeing, punch a Nazi, yeah, that allows you to go out and by any means necessary, take someone down. So, what we've been talking about here, we're talking about a guy that is basically faced sexual allegations and other allegations in the past. Never had any actual sustainable evidence out there. It's basically been debunked. I mean, these kind of things, I'm not going to go over this again, but you have debunked items, that have pretty much been covered in depth and, well, under scrutiny, they've fallen apart. And then if you look at other allegations out there, I mean, it's kind of insulting when you get down to what's being said. I mean, here, I'm looking at an article that basically, it's not accusing him of things. It's trying to collect this and to talk about allegations. So, you had a site collected in 2011. And it talks about Vic's horror stories. Those horror stories are so preposterous. I'd been looking at some of them, and they were things like, man, this guy, he practices his faith, and well, he actually preached at his fandom. He was a little bit too Christian for my like. What a terrible thing there. Now, it says, the way that it's worded, kissing underage girls without their approval or request, that sounds pretty bad. Until you look at what they're talking about. Taking a picture with somebody that's a fan and kissing them on the cheek or the forehead. Yeah, they make it sound like something that is so monstrous here. And yet, when you look at what they're really entailing, yeah, it's something else, isn't it? They say saying things to minors, saying things. Of course, all of this is just happenstance and allegation. But when people throw that out there, you're supposed to be willing to burn down people's lives, right? Being homophobic and refusing to sign gay fan art of the characters he played. Somebody brings you something, that's relationshipping, it's basically Tumblr-esque and you don't want to sign it. So basically the way that they talked about this, they said they brought it to him, he insulted it, they broke down and cried. He was like, he signed it there. Then he tried to placate them by taking a picture. Oh no, his hand, they grabbed the buttocks there and they ripped that up because they were so mad. Yeah, it sounds very believable, doesn't it? Sounds very, very believable. Again, people feeling upset because they're not Christian and he's being mean to them because he is, and so on. Also saying he's rude to people, he's a nightmare of a guest, people that work at conventions. Basically, that sounds like most professionals that we deal with. So you see these stories. You see how they talk about him being a rude a-hole, he screams at people and so on. Again, no substantiation. We don't have videos of all of this, but hey, in the day of everyone recording everything at cons, that doesn't seem peculiar anyway, does it? So he responded to this kind of stuff too. And he said, the rumors and gossip have been slung around for many, many years. None of these outrageous stories are true. Not one shred of proof or evidence to support them. Been very open and warm and welcoming to fans for many years. That includes hugging them, taking pictures, and occasionally giving them a kiss on the cheek or the forehead. He adds on that he's not homophobic, not anti-Semitic, not a predator in any way. He also talks about people at cons. Hug 1,000 people, 999 say, hey, he's so kind and open and friendly. One person, oh man, he hugged me too tight, and he was a creeper. So when you go through this, again, if you look at what's been thrown out there, there have been attempts to tie him in to terrible things, talking about how he's a monster and on. But if you look at what has been put together, like I say, you see things like this with his name brought in. You see sexual assault at conventions. It makes it sound like he has been responsible for something. But no, that's actually not what it's saying. It's actually saying, well, conventions, they've had an issue of this. Therefore, he was also brought up in Broken Staircase, which I think is interesting to talk about because this is a crowdsourced directory of alleged predators in the U.S. anime conventions. Now, when you look at that, it sounds like something that's actually pretty big, right? It sounds like it's put together really well. Only, yeah, does that look like it's put together really well for you? And again, believe survivors. Get together, basically make a list of people because, hey, why not? Again, we don't need substantiation to anything. So this is pretty much how things go. This is pretty much how all of the accusation comes together. And well, some people out there, they don't seem to like that people aren't willing to take that in. In fact, if you go and you look at some of those conversations, again, he needs to go out, if he would like to publicly disavow members of the alt-right. Again, who is alt-right? Well, anyone that isn't right here standing with me. So if you want to go out and disavow them, coming to his defense to harass people in a dangerous manner. What does that mean? I'm sure disagreeing with your narrative is probably harassing in a dangerous manner. And they don't mean in a closed room full of fans, but actually publicly. Disagreeing publicly, that would be a really good time. Kick Vic, because, damn it, people are coming to your defense, and we don't like that. Another thing that was being complained about was a person here was saying, hey, my friend is somebody that was impersonated by another person, and basically there was a conversation about doctoring images. Now, they're talking about stuff like this. And this stuff, it looks really bad when you get down to it. You have a picture out there. This is somebody's repost. That's why you'll see that come up. But you see the picture, and then you see a conversation coming up. And again, I'm not saying that the accounts here are tied to any person whatsoever. I'm just showing you what is out there. So a person comes in and says, you should Photoshop that pic so it looks like Vic's hands are on your chest. That way, no one can claim that it's out of context, and it makes Vic look worse than he is. Person responds, nah, falsifying evidence is gross. Retort, even if it helps make Vic look bad. Response, even if it makes Vic look like Hitler. Response to that, ooh, so that would be fun. Someone should add that the Hitler mustache to him. Then again, we already know he hates Jews. Someone responds to that. Why would you even suggest to edit evidence? That would pretty much throw out the case of law, and it would bring doubt on other allegations. If anything, this would help him. Not only that, but there's this little thing called ethics. Maybe that should trouble you. Again, maybe not. You're looking at the type of people that deal with that. Maybe not. But, beyond that, what about lawsuit? Because I know, I would feel like a pyromaniac of sorts. If you went out and you tried to set my stuff on fire, I'd want to burn your livelihood to the ground. I definitely would. After I got in and I started suing you, I would take everything and I would just keep going. Because, I wouldn't feel very kind or nice. I wouldn't want to take a photo of me hugging you or kissing you on the cheek for sure. I'd want to maybe take a photo of me kissing your bank statement. I was like, I love this. How do you like your Photoshop now? Anyway, continuing on. Not if the Photoshop looks convincing, they say. So nothing to worry about there. There's always a way to figure out something is shopped. It also does not help when talk about photoshopping a pic in a public group where anyone can see it. Yeah, that doesn't strike you as very wise. Just don't do it. It's extremely harmful to victims. So the response there. This is a closed group, so not everyone can see it. Point still stands. Yes, but I will call you the F out if I do catch you spreading false evidence, so don't do it. Just because it's a closed group doesn't mean it's okay to make shit up. And that's very true. It doesn't. But, what is the response to all of this? Of course, it's not truly about a person going out and talking about altering these type of photos. That's not what we're talking about here. No, the Kick Vic saga, as the Kick Vic saga gets bigger, and if you look it up, well, you'll see a few ringleaders popping up there, impersonating someone in order to sway a narrative in one direction or the other should not be tolerated by anyone who has a dog in this fight. The only person who has a dog in this fight, it's Vic and people that are accusing. People are talking about that. No one has a dog in it. People are saying, hey, maybe you shouldn't fire up the torches and try to burn a man's life to the ground. Doesn't that sound reasonable? Doesn't it? Especially considering who I'm talking to here. Let's be real here. We're talking about someone that was tied to Channel Awesome. Now, Channel Awesome, even if you're disconnected from it and on, Channel Awesome was formed on someone being attacked and being deplatformed, which this will get into deplatforming. That's what we're going to talk about here. You would think that would actually resonate. But no, it doesn't. It doesn't resonate within all of this. Not only that, this person has a YouTube and Twitch and on. Would you want people trying to take your stuff down because you actually discuss something? Because you actually go in and you say, again, you don't need to burn someone's life down. What kind of world are we looking at? So continuing, shame on the impersonator and shame on those, here we go, making videos smearing a real person's name. Oh, man. Now, you see the video that's linked here. Oh, no, that mean old yellow flash there. That having been said, and I never said this, but I would strongly suggest flagging this particular video for spreading misinformation about a fake Facebook account created to delegitimize a legitimate concern. Only if you agree, of course. Go out and flag this down. I would never say this out loud, but you just did. You just talked about flagging someone down because you don't want them covering that, because they didn't give a disclaimer saying, hey, that might not be the person there. Is that what you want with it? And if you follow this down, of course, yellow flash tags in Twitter and Team YouTube, because that's pretty messed up. When you get into this kind of stuff, not only is that messed up, but you have people in this conversation that are talking about, just some crazy things. It gets into some crazy conversation. There are people talking about violence. They're saying, talk shit, get hit. That's discussed in here. No, man, someone maliciously faked a Facebook account, stealing someone else's identity, used that account to make wild suggestions, and then an innocent person got harassed for it. Well, Yellow Flash said, I'd make a video about that. You sure make your side look good right there, because you're talking about flagging somebody down. And it doesn't really look very good when you're talking about closing people down there. Again, when you're talking about sides here, what exactly are you trying to get done here? What exactly are you trying to put together? Again, this stuff is being talked about. There's a discussion about what's coming up. And, can we copyright strike this video? Only if you agree, of course. That's probably not the best narrative to it. Like I say, there are a lot of people in here. And some of the people, when you get into some of the conversation, they don't particularly approach this from a nice way. Some of these folks out here, you do have the, I got you, girl. Yeah, I'm going to go flag that down because, hey, let's go out and let's try to burn that down. Let's go and flag. Let's see if we can get it done. But there are also other claims in here that, again, talk about knocking people out, you know? It's a mess. It's a beyond a mess. And when I see that, you know, got a mask flag since you can't be exposed, right, babe? I don't even know what that means. It means your claims of victimhood are piss poor. You know, what about this other account? You know, basically there was an account out there that was an abuser. Why didn't you go and stand up to that person? You know, basically it gets into all of this other stuff. And what it does is it detracts from what is truly transpiring. Because the issue here is not because Yellow Flash made a video. The issue here isn't the supposed alt-right that you're talking about here. The issue here is that there is a man out there, a guy that has allegations being levied against him. This guy, if you want to say that there are allegations and you want to listen to people, that's fine. Listen away. Hear what they're saying. But don't pretend in this that you have evidence, that you have something that would burn the man down in a court of law. Moreover, when you're talking about it, don't pretend, again, number one, that stuff like this doesn't exist, because that does. There are other conversations out there. Number two, when you look at the supposed evidence that's being placed, you know, yeah, there's a whole dossier of evidence. And those things go from, again, people saying, hey, when I was 14, I went up to talk to the guy and it was great. But then my 9-year-old sister came in, she froze up a little, and the guy was a complete and utter jackass. You know, that doesn't make anything better or worse either. It doesn't say that just because he's rude and just because he's obnoxious, that he is a monster and a victimizer. And saying that and challenging that idea does not make you a Nazi. It does not make you all right. Saying that you can't burn people's lives down because of that, and you can't ruin livelihood, and these kind of actions, they're wrong. And you know this is wrong. You have your own channels there. You know this stuff is wrong. Saying that is not bad. There is nothing negative in there. Nobody, again, is going out and harassing people in a dangerous manner, bringing that up. This stuff, this banter back and forth, that, of course, it will build Twitter. It will actually get you more followers. But again, what's the cost? What exactly are you doing? Because you're not just trying to ruin one person in that. You're trying to slander multiple people with, again, labels that not only say that you're a Nazi, but allow violence against people. And for what? For what exactly? How can you say that people are being harassed when you put that out there, knowing in current year what kind of accusation you're levying? So anyway, people, tell me what you think about this stuff. If you like this kind of content, sub to this channel. You know, help this sucker grow. Also, like what you like. Don't like a video if you don't. Leave comments, because I want to know exactly what you think. I do actually read comments there. And make sure that you catch new videos. If you want to go further, there are links in the description. I appreciate you checking those out. If you don't want to, I appreciate you anyway. I want to end here saying that I do appreciate you showing up. I really do. You are what makes stuff possible. That's what all these people, they love to forget. You are the people that matter. So I want to end thanking you so sincerely. Thank you.